This is Relationship Talks with Rick and Namon. I'm Rick.
And I am the DJ Blue.
And he's Namon.
The DJ Blue.
Just the DJ Blue, not even I am.
I am still, however, the DJ Blue.
The topic for this episode is emotional intelligence.
Okay.
So, emotional...
So, are we going to have somebody else on here?
That's funny. Because you dissed both of us at the same time. That's funny.
No, just you. Just you at that moment. It was just you at that moment.
So, according to Wikipedia, emotional intelligence is defined as the ability to perceive, use, understand, manage, and handle emotions.
I would say I'm emotionally intelligent.
That was my next question. Namon, do you feel like you are emotionally intelligent?
Absolutely, Richard. I feel like I am emotionally intelligent. And I'm going to tell you why.
You sound like a robot the way you said it, but...
You sound like a robot the way you said it. How about that?
That's fine.
I'm going to tell you why. Don't criticize me just because I like the way I sound. First of all, let's not talk about you off the air. Richard doesn't like the way he sounds, everyone. How about that? I just told on you. Anywho, yes, I'm emotionally sound. I don't make fun of people. I would say I hold back my punches when it's necessary. No, I don't know. I'm probably not emotionally sound I don't know. I don't know. It just depends. No, I'm going to go ahead and say no, I'm not emotionally sound.
Why do you feel like you're not emotionally? Why don't you feel like you're emotionally intelligent?
Well, I was starting to describe like all the things that I actually do. Like,
the opposite.
No, I honestly, yeah, I would say, yes, I would say I'm emotionally intelligent. I can pick up on, different things. That's hard to say. It's hard to say. I don't even know. Like I've never qualified my emotion with an intelligent. I've never, or with a sense, if you will. I don't know.
I think it's like emotionally intelligence is one of those new words that people use a lot, and I think it's been around for maybe I think it just became popular maybe 4 years ago or so. But it just really means that you're in touch with the way that you feel and you can understand the way that other people feel. And especially in relationships.
Absolutely.
You feel like you're emotionally intelligent.
Absolutely. I could write the book on it.
Oh, yeah?
I would say so. I'm starting to write the book right now as we speak.
Just in your head.
It's going to be called Emotionally Intelligent. I am the DJ Blue.
I think one of the reasons why I feel like I'm in touch with my emotions more than a lot of men, and I'll say men specifically, it's just because of the way that my mom raised me. Like I was raised by both of my parents, but my mom did a good job of making sure that
you were soft.
No, it's not soft. See, that's the problem. She made sure that I was in touch and aware of my feelings and the feelings of people around me. My dad is also someone who he's never been afraid of showing his emotion and sharing how he felt. So, I've seen my dad be emotional. I've probably seen my dad emotional more times than I have seen my mom. My dad was always willing to, I've seen my dad cry. I've seen my mom cry. And I think it's important, especially as a man, to see a man be able to express himself.
Yeah, I would say honestly, I'm probably just the opposite. My mom raised me. She definitely put a lot of those soft qualities in me as well. I mean, but that's what they are. Those are the. But the thing is, you do need the other qualities to balance those out because hey, while I am soft like a teddy bear, I mean, I could do some damage. That's just it. But I would say I never seen. As far as emotion goes, I don't know. I never seen really my dad do that. My dad really. But for me, it makes sense because personally, I'm not really one to put my emotion out there either. But I think like him, another thing would be I have seen lots of ways or met lots of people and experiencing those people and their emotions. It does give you a bit of a learning experience, just introducing yourself to others.
I would say that being emotionally intelligent is really has a lot to do with identifying emotions and also just paying attention.
Right.
It's so many times that you see people poking a bear, metaphorically speaking, and they don't even understand what they're doing is annoying the other person because they're not paying attention to the other person's emotions, or either that or they just don't care.
That's why people get divorced.
Yeah, that's a very true thing.
That's exactly why people get divorced. It's somebody not paying attention to the situation, or maybe they're paying attention, they're just not seeing what the other person's seeing.
I think a lot of times men, and I would say especially Black men, have a hard time being in touch with our feelings because society teaches men to be tough and to be strong and, hide your emotions and not learn how to process them. And on the other hand, we teach women as a society to be in touch with your emotions. You can be soft, you can cry, you can do this, you can process. And sometimes I can think of times where I didn't know how to process emotions, and a lot of times it ends up being just anger. I don't know what this emotion is, so I'm just gonna be angry.
What did you do? What did you do with that anger?
I mean, you don't always do stuff with it.
Why you stuttered when you said that?
I did not stutter.
Go ahead, tell us.
I did not do it. Like, you don't always do anything with the anger, but the fact of the matter is that you get angry, and it's a lot to have to deal with. And I was like, it reminds me of something that I was listening to, and it was talking about colors. And they were saying that the spectrum of colors that you can see, and they were talking about the color blue and how blue wasn't in literature for a long time.
Blue is amazing. It's an amazing color. I can definitely say that for sure.
They were talking about your favorite color, blue, and they were saying how it wasn't found in literature for a long time, even in Greece, where a lot of things would be considered blue, like the ocean and whatnot. And one of the reasons why none of that literature had ever described the ocean or whatever as blue was because that word hadn't been invented yet.
I wasn't born.
So long story short is what the scientist or the anthropologist or whatever he was said is that for a lot of I'm tripping up. For some cultures, how we have words for colors, like we have turquoise, which is like a blue-green. And so if it's a color in between, like for pink, what is going on, bro?
I'm sorry, you're such a nerd, Richard. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to control myself, but every time you start talking, the color's like, what are you talking about? I'm trying. You're so nerdy.
I'm bringing it around the corner now.
You can please, because I'm like, there's so much going on with these colors, and it's like science immediately.
So colors in the spectrum that are closely related. If we didn't give them a name, then we would say that they were a different color. So for instance, orange. If we didn't have the word orange, that the hypothesis was we would describe it more as a red because it's in a red family or a brown. Basically what I'm saying is that if we don't have the knowledge of what emotions are, then we can't properly classify them in a place that they should be.
I see. Long color. I see what you mean. If the colors aren't named, you can't classify them.
And we'll classify it as something that it's not. Long story short,
if you can't classify the color because you don't have a name for it, you can't do it.
So if you're frustrated, if you're sad, if you're anxious, but you don't know how to describe that, you might interpret those feelings as anger.
Yeah. Oh man. I personally know exactly what you mean because I've personally been experiencing mild anxiety lately, and I recognize it as anxiety.
Yeah, and before you really knew,
like right now, when you start talking about those colors, I got anxious. And it took me back to a place where I was small.
I can think of times where we've had conversations where we've come to the awareness of, this is what anxiety is. 10 years ago, I was feeling anxiety, but I didn't know how to classify it. So I just thought I was angry, or I just thought I was sad or depressed, but it was anxiety.
Me, I just thought I was, what's the word? I don't know, a jerk.
I mean, that's still.
But then I realized it's other people. It's other people that have the problems.
It's other people.
And it's not me.
It's never you.
And I think that's what I realized on my emotional intelligent journey. I've learned that it's not me that's the problem. It's everyone else. Wow. I feel good here.
Yeah, just blame everybody else on your problem. I feel like that's super healthy. Just blame everybody for your problems.
Get that off of my chest.
Yeah. Just
I
never
can go be toxic.
Never
now.
take responsibility for anything. I'm sure that is exactly that is the message. No, that's not it.
I can go be refreshingly toxic now.
So I recently have been watching this show, and it's called Ready to Love, and it's a dating show where they put 10 single men, 10 single women together, and then eventually they try to get it down to 3 couples that are actually ready to love. Yeah. I hate the theme song, but it's,
same.
Yeah,
it's catchy.
Yeah,
it's catchy. I mean, I'm saying like it's annoying, but it's catchy. That's 100% the truth.
So I was late to the show, so I've been watching it from like season 1.5, because it's like 2 seasons in the one.
I just started season 2.
Yeah, so I just started as me as well. And the things that these men, like I watched the men talk to the women, and I see the women's body language change, and the men do not even realize that they are digging a hole for themselves. It's like,
so I would say the first season when they had the pastor on there.
Yeah, Pastor Chris.
My thing is this, right? Exactly. My thing is this, like in certain situations like that, look, emotional intelligence is like viable, right? That's, you need something like that. And I think for him, I wouldn't have went around telling everybody I was a pastor.
You probably would have held off on that.
I would have let them get to know me
as a person,
not the pastor. Yeah, as a person before you automatic. Because I mean, honestly, hey, that's a great job, and but it's an intimidating place. It's an intimidating position, and most women aren't emotionally intelligent, or men even aren't emotionally intelligent to be with that person in that position.
I think that it's a bunch of assumptions that come along with certain titles.
Yeah.
And I think the assumption as a pastor, somebody trying to date a pastor, is that, oh, like I can't do anything wrong, and I can't swear, and I can't drink. And I think you make all of those assumptions. It's kind of like it's a prejudice. It is a prejudice because you're assuming something about somebody before you actually get to know them personally. And it can be problematic. It can be problematic, but so many times you see those people and they're not like reading the room. Read the room. Like,
yeah.
And
look around, fool.
And it's like, I know, like from us, like we will be sitting talking to people. It doesn't matter if you're talking to a man or a woman, if you're just having general conversation or romantic, you can tell how that, a lot of times for most people, you can tell how they're taking the information that you're giving them.
Yeah.
And it's so many, it's like, I looked at all these men like saying these things, and like instantly these women are getting turned off or getting turned away, and they just keep digging their own hole and they're not paying attention. And I was like, wow, like they have a lack of emotional intelligence. And I've had so many female friends tell me like, oh, you're emotionally intelligent. I'm like, isn't that a common thing to be in touch and pay attention to those things? But it isn't
though. And I say that, like I said, that's you, like you were saying, like your mom put those things into you. But it has to be placed there, that clean slate has to be placed. And then you have to also have the things to protect yourself, so while, hey, some things, it's like live with your peace when your mom creates that peace, and then whatever your dad puts in there, if there's some masculine stuff, put some masculine, mix it all together.
If there's some masculine stuff.
But I'm saying, hey, some people aren't raised by males. They're raised by, so it's difficult for females to do it, but they do it all the time. But yeah, they can't provide a lot of the things that a man can provide, just like a man can't provide a lot of the things that women provide.
So everybody has their lane and their strength.
Exactly. So I think like in those situations on there, it's important for those people, if you are searching for a relationship in such a large place like that, you need to watch, and you need to use the experience to spread your mind, open your mind, keep your mind open, because on those shows, one thing I find interesting is those people, they will be locked up on the first episode. like locked up because of a look, or like not even like you're not even digging deep. How can you dig deep on a first date with 30 other people?
Right.
So I don't know. It's scary. It's terrifying to me.
I can see what you mean. And just paying attention can get you so far in the situation that, you know what I mean? Like, you could be going down a road. But I pay attention when, especially like when you're dating, you really got to pay attention, because you want to kind of be able to read the other person. You want to see if that person's interested. And I can think of a time where I was trying to hook up a friend of mine with the girl that I was talking to, her friend. And like, I had them over there talking, and the body language, like, she slumped over and she was not interested. And then when I came over to talk to her, she perked up and and I was like, dude, like,
because you had the dollar bills in your hand.
I didn't have no dollar bills in my hand.
But because he wasn't paying her.
No, I was not. Hold on, pay her. What are you talking about?
This isn't that story. Isn't that story.
It's no story like that.
With that stripper?
No stripper, sir.
That stripper named Cinnamon Roll.
Cinnamon Roll.
First name Cinnamon, last name Roll.
But the thing is that a lot of times when you approach somebody, I like when I was single, when I would approach someone, the thing that I paid attention to was the body language. When you have that first introduction and you have that conversation, you can tell if they're interested or not most times. And if you're getting that vibe, kind of like, leave me alone, like, this is not going over well, then you just kind of like, all right, well, you have a nice day.
Well, see, I think for me, it was always nice, because when I went out on dates when I was single, when I was here, I'm kind of, not single anymore. Now I got a sweet thing. Oh, let me get back to the story.
Yeah.
When I was doing it, me personally, it was basically to see who could put up with me the best. Well, you know what I mean? Because I always had this like imagination, and well, not imagination, but this theme in my mind where, if you can deal with me, then I'm good. Like, I'm a lot. I'm extra, and I'm always gonna be extra, 100%. And that's just me. But I'm kind sometimes. I mean, aren't I? I'm kind. I would say there's been a few times where I've been kind.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can go with that.
I helped you with that stripper that one time.
It was no stripper, cuz I
tipped that stripper for you. You know, the one with the missing eye and the peg leg. She's just trying to make $1.
Spreading false rumors and fabrications.
she's just trying to make $1 though.
So thinking about relationships, how do you think a lack of emotional intelligence affects a relationship?
Oh, I think it affects the relationship in a way that is extremely, I would say, depressing and negative, because I guess there's a silver lining, not even a silver lining, but a 50-50 chance that maybe they don't understand how to do it. And I guess that would be the question. Do you understand how to be emotionally sound? Or maybe they've never experienced any type of relationships where that was necessary. Maybe their last relationship didn't have anything to do with emotion. They just learned this is a new thing.
Yeah.
So that's a hard thing to say. So but it affects the relationship in the worst ways, because if you're involved and the other person isn't, and you don't know it, and you both aren't feeling the signals, then that's a problem.
The thing is that a lot of time, I know a lot of the women that I've talked to, friends or otherwise, one of the things that they need is like that compassion. They need they need their man to understand what they're going through, to relate to it, to be able to step in when those signals are seen. But if you don't even know how to read those signals in yourself, it is very hard to read them in someone else.
Yeah, 110%. You just basically just out there. Out there.
I wonder if that lack of emotional intelligence has anything to do with our tendency in this generation, especially to be selfish.
Well, I mean, I don't know. How could you say? Well, you're saying that selfishness is a sign of a lack of emotional intelligence?
I'd say it could be related in the fact that emotional intelligence, you have to actually pay attention and want to understand how someone else is feeling, how you're feeling. If you're selfish, all you're doing is caring about yourself. You're not caring about how other people feel. You're not doing that response, because it's kind of like a scientific thing. You do something and then you kind of see how other people react, and then you make adjustments there. But if you're selfish and you don't care how other people act, then you're never learning anything from that stimulus response.
Yeah, I mean that's valid. I mean, but I don't know. It's I guess a hard one for me. Just thinking about the idea of classifying emotional intelligence.
Yeah,
that's kind of difficult. It's just for me. It's like it's hard for me to classify it because I guess you could say, hey, you have an awareness. I guess that's a better word for me. I guess it's the same thing. Yeah, emotional awareness, it's emotional intelligence. Okay, you put it like that.
It's like being in touch with yourself, or being in touch with yourself, or being in touch with other people.
That makes sense. Yeah, I could see it that way. Emotional awareness. That sounds better. I guess it's the same thing. I don't know. Intelligence, it kind of gives it its own thing. I don't know.
I mean, like I think AI. I think we both can say that we've heard of like other people that don't know what to do, because they, even when it's so readily apparent that something is going on, you don't see it till like the sky is crashing down, and like you hear the girls is like, I was going through this and this, and I told you this and that, but you didn't even come and care until I started crying. Because a lot of times, some of us do not understand. A lot of times
you're just always crying.
Sometimes you don't get the subtlety of it because you can't recognize it until you get that response that you understand. You can understand crying, but you might not understand the other little subtle things that led to the cry that got when it got that bad.
But like I say, some of y'all are just always crying, so it's more or less just like, hey, I'm here.
Stop talking about me, man. I have my times where I want to cry. Leave me alone.
You sure do, man. You sure do. Like that peg leg stripper, man. You should have did that, lady.
You just gonna carry this peg leg stripper.
She was pregnant, Richard. She was.
Now she's pregnant. Cinnamon roll, peg leg, eye patch.
She was with child.
Now she's pregnant.
You should have never kicked that lady out.
This is like a elaborate, like you just keep building onto the story as we go.
Hey, I tried to help her, but whatever. I did what I could.
Moving right along, I think that it's so important to communicate, because even in a good situation where you're reading each other and you understand when your partner is going through emotions. And I mean, I think as a man, sometimes we might be harder to read because a lot of us shield what we're feeling so often. I mean, even between me and you as friends, I can think of times where I could be going through and you'd be like, you all right, man? I'd be like, I'm good. No matter what it is, I'm good. No matter what you're going through, I'm good. But it takes some time for us to open up and
my emotional awareness will say, that's not it.
That's not it.
Not good.
You're not good.
He's upset.
Exactly.
He's not happy. He's crying.
There's so many times where we'll feel like our partner should understand us and understand our emotions and understand the way that we're feeling. And then we have to really remind ourselves is that they can't read our minds.
Oh man, see, you just took the words right out of my mouth. And I was thinking that too, like thinking or expecting your partner to know what you think, and that's absolutely insanity.
Yeah.
But I think it's important for us as human beings to give our partners that leeway to say, hey, well, I know you don't understand this, so look, I'm going to explain it to you once and let you know, hey, this is how I feel when this happens. Mm-hmm. And, I just want you to know that so you are emotionally aware in the future. Yeah, and then when they don't do it, kick them out. Like Richard did that stripper.
Whatever. I think it's important for you
Cinnamon roll, I see you.
I think it's important for you to have an awareness and to learn the person that you're with. Yeah. Because you're not, like when you first get together, you're not going to know everything about that person. You're not going to know how they handle certain situations. And that's part of getting to know someone. But when that stuff happens, it's kind of a pattern. Like if that person, every time something like this happens, this is what they need to get out of it. And this is what they need from you as a partner. If you do that a couple of times and they tell you like, this is what I need in these situations, and then you don't do it, then that could cause some tension.
Yeah.
But it's like whenever I've been in a relationship and I see what happens with my partner, if it's something that happens that I know when this happens, this is the kind of support that you need and the kind of support that you expect from your partner, and you try to be there for them, then that is being intelligent to the person that you're with and learning that person.
So I'm with you, right? So there's another show, right? I don't know if you've ever seen this one, but this one is called Love is Blind.
I never watched it.
Discovery need to start paying us, man. I'm telling you. But it's called Love is Blind. I thought
Love is Blind was on Netflix.
Whatever. Discovery, Netflix. The other one is on Netflix.
Both of them need to pay us. That's fine. Netflix send us a check. That's fine.
Either or. I'm looking for a check. But anywho, so this one in particular, I really like this one. But this one is based on, they meet this person and then they marry them before they see them. So you engage them. My question is, how long, do you need to find out if somebody is emotional aware? Because these people, I think they get 4 weeks and then they get married. So they engaged behind closed doors. No, they don't see each other unseen. They go to Mexico. They meet each other's families and then they get married. That's literally how the show goes.
That's wild.
And then it gives me a lot of anxiety
because that will give you anxiety.
The thing is, it's like, same thing. You don't know. Like, you meet this person in Mexico. Mexico is beautiful, right? You're on the beach. Everything is nice. There's no stress. Then they get to the families. Everything kind of gets a little shaky. They have arguments. And it gets to the point where you start to wonder, like, when they met these people, what attracted it? Like, there's something had to attract you to say, I want to marry this person, other than the fact that they say they're a good home cleaner, they cook and they clean. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, and then when you get to that point and they're not there, you don't marry them.
Yeah.
That's not it. You spent all this time attracted to what? You know what I mean? Not their emotion, not that feeling, because that's not there. It never was.
I think that show, just like Married at First Sight, that's kind of difficult for me, like, just because
anxiety, Richard, anxiety.
So first of all, like, as much as we want to say that love is blind, love is not. Just to get to talk to someone, you got to find them attractive in some kind of manner, and don't say you're
not blind. It just has a bifocal.
So, like, even to approach someone, a lot you're not like, oh, I was so attracted to the way that they think. Like, you're not gonna be close enough to know that a lot of times, unless it's a public figure. So the first thing that's
you have people like me. I'm a smooth talker. I'll tell you anything to get in your socks.
But the first thing that's gonna attract someone to someone else usually is some kind of physical attraction. Yeah. Especially for men, because we're very visual creatures. And then too, like,
what? You can't speak for all men.
It's a scientific fact that we're more visual.
But that's
when it comes to
you
attraction.
Can't speak for every man. I don't know if I'm more visual. I'm more spiritual.
Anyway,
I am. I'm more spiritually connected to the love that I have for my woman. You're visual because you're a pig, Richard, and all you think of women is things and bodies and boobs and stuff. That's what you think about. I think about love and laying on blankets in the park.
If this was
after dark.
If this was reverse date, that would have been accurate if we were speaking in reverse, but we're not.
In the dark, with candy and Sade playing in the background.
Yeah, I like Sade.
I do too, man. Sade is beautiful.
But so you made me totally forget what I was talking about.
And that was the point.
But no, so even in long distance relationships, right? You could find somebody physically attractive. You could talk over cameras, but meeting that person in real life, it is a certain kind of connection that you make from being close to someone, being in a proximity, like the pheromones and everything. So even just meeting somebody, pheromones.
The pheromones.
Have I been too scientific for you?
That?
Yeah, pheromones.
Did you just say that? The pheromones. So you can witness these pheromones?
No, it's a subconscious thing.
So
it's on a molecular level.
So it's subconscious on a molecular level.
Molecular.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Okay, keep going.
This guy's a jerk.
I'm just trying to get my words together, man.
Okay, yeah, all right.
I'm writing down my big book of words. Richard says, I got it. You got this.
The big book of words that Richard said.
The big book, molecular.
Just to even simplify it more than that, it's a chemistry that you have when you meet someone in person. And right. it is times where you could talk to somebody for a long time over the phone, even see them in video. And then when you get there face to face, that chemistry just isn't right.
Yeah, that's happened.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So that's like happened. To think about getting married without meeting someone, or only getting married after just talking to somebody.
It just gives me the heebie-jeebies.
That's tough because you could like somebody a lot but not be physically attracted to them. And that's a man or a woman. And then they be like, well, this was nice, but I'm not attracted to you in that way.
I always think about, like, you know, this Tinder date I went on, right?
Oh, man.
And it was like that, but it was just like that. That's not even that one. But no, it was just like that. It was just like when I got there, it was just like, oh man, what did I do? Like, you know, you get committed. And she didn't have any cookies available as well, so I was out. Lickety split.
What kind of cookies we talking about?
Actual cookies. I wasn't playing any games. I was actually looking for cookies. I mean, there was
like I went over her house and she ain't had no cookies.
I went over her house. She didn't have any cookies. No, I didn't. I mean, and I don't like liars. You know, I'll put that out there. Period.
No, nobody likes a liar.
I don't do that.
But I think that the way that I think that
just say all that and just go into the next.
Just start over, right? Yeah.
The next thing. That's hilarious.
So I feel like the world has been shrinking in a way. It's so easy to meet people digitally.
Oh, that's deep.
You know what I mean? It's so much easier. So growing up before like internet and even cell phones, you grew up in a town, and the dating pool was that town. Because chances are you're not leaving that town.
That's sad.
But now, like, we got cell phones, we got internet, we got like video calls, we got Zoom,
we got cars,
we travel, we can meet people online. I mean, like,
we don't have to ride horse and buggy.
To take it back to another dating show that's on Discovery Plus. The Single Life.
I have another one, Breaking Amish. That's a cool dating one as well.
We talked about that one before, but like, you could meet somebody halfway across the world and then go meet them and actually have a relationship with them. That opens up a whole nother dating pool.
Yeah, shout out to Big Ed. He's done that several times and failed.
Do not shout out Big Ed. Big Ed, he's problematic.
Shout out to Big Ed. Big Ed's not problematic, man. Big Ed is misunderstood.
Big Ed is problematic.
He is misunderstood, bro. Big Ed, if you're listening.
I'm sure he listens on a regular basis.
What if he does, man? What if he does? I like Big Ed, though. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he is a little bit problematic, but I mean, I feel like he was looking for love in all of those situations. All the 5 times he did it. All 5
he was
times. Looking for love. All 5 times he was looking for love. Each of them, he was madly in love with those women. So he gave his all at the end of the day.
I think the thing to diverge a little bit, for people who don't know who Big Ed is, I was going to say a character, but he's a person who's been on
he's a character.
Several seasons of a dating show, and a lot of his relationships end up crashing and burning. I think the problem with Big Ed is that Ed is more so looking for love than the person to be in love with.
Yeah.
And whenever you're looking for love and not a person to be in love with, you're kind of opening yourself up for disaster.
Failure.
Or failure. But with the world shrinking, I feel like...
stop saying that, man.
It's shrinking, man. It's
You're making me uncomfortable every time you say that the world is shrinking. I don't want to hear that.
Anxiety from the world shrinking?
I don't want to hear that the world is shrinking. No one wants to hear that, Richard. Don't say that. Don't say that. Have something else better to say. The world. How about saying the world is getting smaller? How's that?
That's the same thing.
Say that?
That's just a lot more
but
words.
It isn't. But it isn't, though. It's different. The world is shrinking. Oh my God. The world is getting smaller. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
How is that better?
It is. It is, Richard. Just go with it.
With having access to more of the world from where you are, you're no longer limited to a 50.
Smaller.
You're no more. You're no longer limited to a 50-mile radius of getting to know someone.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot more opportunity with the apps, whether you like them or love them or hate them. I hate them. I hated being on them when I was on them. But
that's not what I heard.
But the thing is you have so many more opportunities to meet people.
And you like that.
I didn't, though.
You say that. Let's tell the real story, Richard.
That is the real story. What's the real fabricated story?
Let's tell everyone about Penelope.
You just making names up? Penelope Cruz? What are
I'm
you
just
talking
making.
about?
Oh, I didn't even say her last name. You gonna put her name out there like that?
No, I'm just talking about the actress name, man.
That's not it. Okay, whatever, Richard. Just go ahead,
You
man.
just
Let's
making
not tell
stuff
you little
up.
dirty secrets about Cinnamon and Penelope.
We just going. But you know, you can
Cinnamon
reach so
roll.
many different people, and I think the times, like going back to what, like the last episode where we were talking about fair commitment. I think it's hard to commit for some people when they have so many different options, and it will be like a period in time where even the best relationships, the most perfect relationships, take time to grow, and you're gonna get your rocky periods. And it's things that once you hit a first bump, if you like, oh, well, I can just go over here because this seems better. You're not going to spend that time to build that relationship.
I think rocky periods, they'll come more often if you don't communicate.
That's true.
And I think that rocky periods only come when you don't communicate.
Rocky situations can come when you can communicate.
I don't think so, though. I don't believe so, because the thing is, if it's a rocky situation, I mean, whatever that could be, hey, if this is a conversation, then it doesn't have to be a rocky. It doesn't have to be as bad as it seems. You have a problem. Tell me you have a problem, and then let me choose to feel a certain type of way about it. But if you're being honest with me and you're being open with me, then I can't really be upset at your honesty. I have to take that. I have to process it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, it doesn't have to be a rocky situation. It could just be, hey, you know, we had a conversation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it could be, oh, we always have deep conversations, as opposed to we always have arguments.
Yeah, but I mean, it really goes to communication styles. Like, it's some people who, once they get triggered, they're triggered. You know what I mean? And it could have been like,
throw things.
Hey, this was a misunderstanding. I think you thought I was talking about yellow, but I was actually talking about red. Like, you know what I mean?
And then Richard's like, no, you shouldn't have done this. I asked for 2 scoops of I asked for 2 lattes, not just one. You yelled at that lady.
I mean, but ideally, you know,
poor Penelope.
You just gonna carry us through. Ideally, you would want someone who would be able to communicate with you and communicate effectively without having to not argue. Because I mean, arguments are not healthy if you're not actually listening to one another. You can have a conversation.
If you're arguing, you shouldn't be together.
That's not true, because I think that everybody tends to argue.
But no, this is the thing. I think there's a level. I think there's a level of talking. I think there's a level of discussing. I think there's even a level of having, like I said, a really good conversation. But if you're arguing, that means that there's clearly somebody's points not being heard, and you're both just sitting there trying to say, I'm right. That's arguing, no?
Yeah,
Is that not arguing?
I mean, I guess when you put it that way, I get what you're saying. I feel like
that's if you're constantly trying to be disagreements, like that'll be fine. Like,
yeah, disagreements.
I'd rather have a disagreement than an argument.
But
like,
yeah,
I'd rather
yelling
just be
and
like, I disagree
at
with
each
you being
other.
stupid.
Yelling and cussing at each other is a whole different thing.
And you shouldn't be together. That's basically it. You should stop. I mean it. I swear. I stand by that. If you yell and you cuss at each other, stay away from each other. You should not be together.
I think you and I are similar in that we like to keep our peace. Yeah. And even when it's a disagreement, whether it's between a friend and especially if it's between your partner. Yeah. It's like conversation. Dip. Conversation is key. I remember talking to someone. Yeah, I remember talking to someone, and whenever we got into it and we disagreed, it was like, you just want to be right. You just want to win.
Yeah,
and I was like, if I just want to win, it's no winning in a relationship. We're a partnership. If one of us win, that means we both lose. If somebody wins, somebody has to lose, and that's not what I'm looking for.
My thing is I'll be quiet before I have to be right.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fine. Before I have to prove how right I am, I'll be quiet. I'm fine with that. Like, I know I'm right.
And the thing about it is that I think we've said it before on this show, probably really, really early on. We 50 plus episodes in, but
yeah,
once I stop discussing with you or arguing or having conversation, or we going back and forth, when I'm just like, okay, that's when I'm done.
Yeah,
because it's no longer worth my time to present my point of view.
Right, and you done art. That's what I'm saying. You get to the point where it's like, I'm not arguing. You should not be with. And like I said, I say it again. You should not be with someone who you argue with. That is silly. That means that you're never ever gonna get your point across, and that could be anything. Maybe you're trying to get the point across that you actually love this person. It's never gonna get across. Period. Yeah. You can't fix it if it started broken.
You can't fix it if it started broken.
You can't fix it if it started broken, because that's where it started. You can't fix it because, hey, you can't fix something that don't need to be fixed. It was already broken.
That's a bar.
That's deep. That's deep.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. To be a part of the conversation, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Rick and Namon. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the show on your favorite podcasting app. You can follow our personal accounts at
I am the DJ Blue. I am the DJ Blue.
You can find me at Dazism.
On everything. I am the DJ Blue. I'm done.
All right. You can find me at Dazism, and that's DODDSISM. Until next time, boys and girls.
Remember, there's always a next time. That was like nerd to the fifth power. For a minute, I didn't know if you were speaking English. just the colors, and then when the colors come around and they start naming these colors, oh God, what's happening here? Jeez, so much science.
Relationship Talks with Rick and Namon is a Crown Culture Media LLC production. It is produced by me, Richard Dawes, and our theme music is by the DJ Blue.